Hello, my name is Camille Wiseman and I will be going over the appendicular skeleton, starting off with the scapula. So the anatomy of the scapula starts with the coracoid process, which is this notch under the clavicle on the anterior side of the skeleton. The subscapular fossa is going to be on the side, and that's going to be right here, this lining. The glenoid cavity is where this flat notch is on the bone, and you can see where the screw is in place. That's the glenoid process. Next, we're looking at the spine, which is this flat surface here, and the acromion is up here, this little bone. The supraspinous fossa on the posterior side can be seen right here, and the infraspinous fossa is here. The sternoclavicular joint, if we turn the skeleton around, is this notch up here that connects the sternum to the clavicle, and the clavicle connects to the acromion at the AC joint, or acromioclavicular joint. Here we have the arm, and we're going to be looking at the humerus. Also from the humerus we have the head, and if we look towards the side we have the greater tubercle and the lesser tubercle, more towards the medial lining that goes down the humerus bone. The deltoid tuberosity is actually halfway down, and it's this notch you see halfway down the humerus. And the medial epicondyle is going to be here on this medial side of the epicondyle, and the lateral, which is here. The coronoid fossa is actually this depression you see where my thumb is in the circle, and it receives the coronoid process of the ulna during flexion. The capitulum is kind of next to the coronoid fossa, and that's here on the lateral side, this kind of depression here, and that articulates with the radius here. The trochlea articulates with the ulna, and that's kind of under here, this little trochlea space here. The olecranon fossa, if we turn the skeleton around, you can see with the lighting, there's this other depression on the back, kind of where we would say the elbow is, and that's where the olecranon fossa lies, and it allows for extension, and also the olecranon process lies right here.
Next we'll be looking at the fibula and the tibia. On the fibula we have the head sitting up here, the lateral malleolus is at the very distal end, this notch that kind of sits out a little bit. Looking at the tibia here, we have the medial and lateral condyles, so medial and lateral. The tibial tuberosity is the notch at the proximal ends here. And then we have the medial malleolus on the tibial side is this notch that sits out, if I take the sticker off, the notch that sits out here, kind of hangs off. Finally, we have the proximal and distal tibiofibular joints, so that will be up here and down in here. Looking at the tarsus next. Next we'll be looking at the humerus. Looking towards the top of the humerus is the head, this notch up here near the joint. The greater tricantor, and towards the medial side is the lesser tricantor. And the abductor tubercle is the distal end here, kind of like this knot where this notch sets. The medial epicondyle is this inner bone. The lateral is this outer bone. The medial and lateral condyles kind of lie more in towards the joint at the bottom. And here the lateral. And the patella is this bone that sits on top.
The carpus is right here at the base of the hand next to the metacarpals, and we'll start here with the pisiform. Next we have the triquetral, the lunate, the scaphoid. Up above we have the hamate, the capitate, the trapezoid, and the trapezium. Now the bones that form the wrist joint with the forearm are called the proximal row to the ulna and the radius. Now the bones that form the joint of the pollex, which is here the thumb, it looks like we have the pisiform and the hamate that help form the thumb, the pollex. These are the metacarpals. These are the phalanges, proximal, medial, and distal. To finish up the humerus, we have the coronoid process, which is right here, below the operculum process. In between, we have the radial tuberosity, and the styloid process is actually at the end of the radius, the ulna and the radius. Next is the pelvic girdle, and we're going to be looking at the coxal bones. First, I want to point out the approximate borders of the three bones that fused during development of the skeleton, and that's the ilium, the ischium, and the pubis. And we have the ilium here, we have the pubis here, and the ischium is down here. Okay, looking at the cerebellum, it's kind of in here where this notch is sitting on the flat surface inside. The pubic symphysis is this line right here. The obturator foramen is the hole down in here, which will house blood vessels going down and nerves going down and through the leg. The anterior superior iliac spine is up here, and then just below that is your iliac, or excuse me, the iliac crest is here, and then just below that is the anterior superior iliac spine. The iliac fossa is this flat surface here, and the greater sciatic notch you can kind of see right here for your sciatica nerve. The ischial spine is better seen in the back, and it's right here. And then below that we have the ischial tuberosity, and the ischial tuberosity is kind of
looking at the tarsus. So that's going to be these bones up here in the foot, and the talus. So the bone that it articulates with is the calcaneus, and the calcaneus here, and the tarsus joint. So that's up here. The calcaneus, as I just said, is right here and kind of forms the heel bone, and the cuboid sits right below that here. The navicular is more up here in the top of our foot. The medial, intermediate, and lateral cuneiform bones sit kind of at the top above the metacarpals, or excuse me, metatarsals. So we have the metatarsals here and the phalanges here, the distal, medial, and proximal. The hallux is known as the big toe.